What does the gun debate look like in Congress at this point?
It's far too easy for people to get
The
weapons.
Second Amendment needs to be repealed because it is outdated.
Automatic or semi-automatic rifles.
Are there no steps
It's so terrible to prevent gun violence.
Does that make sense to you?
When you say allowing it,
You can put me in.
First question, are you afraid of snakes or spiders?
I don't mess with snakes, spiders, or things that fly and can sting you.
Yes, I hate snakes and spiders.
Are you afraid of heights?
No, I wouldn't say that I'm too afraid of heights.
Are you afraid of drowning?
Yes, I'm definitely afraid of drowning.
I'm more afraid of the pain of drowning than drowning itself.
Do you have a fear of being buried alive?
Have not thought about that.
I wouldn't say it's a daily fear, but to go through something like that would be horrendous.
I'm not very claustrophobic, so I don't think I'd be afraid. I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected.
So this all leads to the idea of guns. Are you someone who's afraid of guns?
No.
If someone walks into the store with a gun, I don't think it will bother me.
I'm not afraid of guns, I'm afraid of what people do with guns.
There's positive things that happen with guns, and there's negative things that happen with guns, and it all comes down to the individual themselves.
I've grown up around them, meaning, I got uncles, father, even aunts who own guns.
Being afraid of guns should be a thing in the past, really.
A gun's not gonna hurt you on its own. Unlike a spider or a snake that'll crawl on your bed in the middle of the night, it's poisonous. You're bit, you know. With a gun, you need to be trained, you need to be safe.
The interesting thing about fear is it's a gift and a curse. It can be a great motivator, and it could be a great destroyer. With irrational fear, there's just no real root in reality. So let's say, for instance, my inherent fear of flying. I use that as an example. I had initially a very deep-rooted fear of flying. I still did it, I just was terrified of it. Yet, if I were to look at things rooted in reality, I don't have the same fear of driving that I do of flying, yet statistically speaking, the chances of me dying in a car accident are greatly higher than they are of me dying in an airplane crash. And so the problem with irrational fear is that it can take so much of our focus off of reality that we start doing things in reality that have nothing to do with reality. I would find myself avoiding flying, making myself unnecessarily uncomfortable. And it's like, what am I getting from that other than getting off a plane with a headache? Whereas rational fear, there's a fundamental understanding of that fear relative to the actual reality of the consequence that we're fearing. Like carrying a firearm, when it comes to driving, yeah, I have a certain apprehension about driving because I understand the statistics. I understand that there's a higher degree of me dying in a car accident than actually me flying. So I look at that and say, okay, I have a fear of that, so therefore I'm gonna do everything in my power to be a responsible driver, that in the event that I am in an accident, that I put myself in the best position to not die. That is rational fear being used in a good way for me to do responsible things that are to my advantage. I think when it comes to like matters of carrying a firearm, there are a lot of people who can look at it and say, well, that's an irrational fear because the likelihood of you ever needing to use that gun is incredibly low. And they're right in that sense. The only thing about that is the consequences are so much higher because the consequences are 100% and the bar of entry for me to do something about it is very low. i.e. I get a gun, I learn how to use the firearm, and then I carry it with me on a daily basis. Why would I not do that?
Okay, and walk through it again for me.
Buck is getting his glamour shots. He's getting B-roll, the non-glamorized version of B-roll. First time I met Buck was actually a scope carabine course.
Get that sustained rate of fire going, and then speed it up.
He doesn't entertain bullshit. He doesn't entertain hypotheticals. He merely and is solely focused on the reality of any given situation that we're dealing with.
You shot 6'5" Gringo. That's what you... Shut the up. 6'5" Gringo.
I really honestly didn't know what to expect from Buck. I knew he had an extensive military background, and you never really know what you're gonna get when you meet people in general, much less people who've been in the military. Just their perspective on the world is just a lot different. For a lot of us here, we're kind of insulated in this little bubble of our lives that we have here, and we benefit from that greatly. There's so many nuggets of information that you walk away with a completely different perspective. There's an overt simplicity to the way he teaches his class. It's really freaking refreshing. And Buck definitely has a very unique way of looking at the world. He'll say nothing before he lies. He's not a very rigid individual from the standpoint of ideals and a way to do things. It either works or it doesn't. And then if it stops working, find out another thing that does work. And I respect that. You don't really get that in a lot of people.
See your impacts? And just do this. Boom, boom, and then back in.
Go and do it again.
Initially, how did you deal with the aspect of someone shooting at you? I mean, or what, did you even really think about it that much?
For one thing, there's a blind, naive sense of
mortality.
Yes, but then until I got stitched up or shot, I would say there was some fear in there, but there's also some anxiety.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the reality kicked in. That was a bullet, or you see the wall next to you and there's a big chunk of the wall missing, or the vehicle that you're by it's stitched up, it has holes. After getting shot a couple times, that's when it's like, oh, okay. I was Superman that never had a taste of kryptonite.
Gotcha.
Now that I got a taste of kryptonite, still Superman.
Yeah.
However, I'm not gonna hesitate or half step.
Yeah.
But that consideration of getting stitched up again is always gonna be in my head, and which is a good thing. Yeah. But now when I roll, I'm rolling with, wow, this is not a joke.
I'm talking about when it hits you. Doom, doom, ting, ting. Oh, ow, 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 oh, hit, doom, done.
Do you have any specific examples of for when that reality hit you?
Sure. So after being shot, lost one of my best friends in that same engagement. Get back, I'm banged up. There's a healing process physically and mentally. But at the end of the day, there's the question that was over my head, am I still that guy?
Yeah.
And that was probably the scariest time of my life. Am I that guy? I get a little choked up, but my wife knew, because she said it when I was in the hospital,
yeah.
You need to heal and get back out there, because that question had to be answered.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, I would say 18 months after I was shot, I was back in Afghanistan. And I realized that I wasn't scared of getting shot or anything. I was scared of being able to perform.
Gotcha.
At the same level and still be able to be an asset to the team. Because it's just not about you, it's about your boys being with you. And fortunate for me, that answer came with me knowing that, hey, I'm still that guy, but I'm the guy that knows.
Gotcha.
And that's the fear you just live with. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I assume it is no different from any athlete that's out there and maybe got a concussion, doing something, and he's back in the fight, knowing that he's gonna do this, but there's some consequences, and you've been there.
So let's say you had somebody like me, right? Never been shot at. I've done my fair share of training, of course, with no one shooting back.
Right.
Done sims, done all of those things. Kind of walk me through how you would deal with someone like me mentally, from a mindset, who is like oh crap, now this is for real. How do you help me manage or deal with that fear?
The fear doesn't kick in, or the fear of a gunfight doesn't kick in until reality sets in, and everyone's gonna have a different approach on it. For you, if you tell me, hey, I wanna learn this, but I'm nervous or scared about the outcomes that could come, all I can do is be real about the consequences and training to that reality as much as possible. Like I said, the feedback, the sims are good, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's just walking through it in your mind over and over again.
For a lot of people, guns inherently are intimidating. However, what I want to do today is talk about the more subjective components of intimidation when it comes to a firearm. Not necessarily scary, but something that leaves a lasting impression that's hard to forget. So what I've done is compiled my top 5 most intimidating guns. And I'm going to start with the M16. The M16 is the proverbial American intimidating rifle. And the reason that is because of the news, the media, and anti-gunners.
It's a weapon of war.
This is a weapon of mass slaughter.
No one needs an assault rifle to go out and shoot a deer.
And yes, I'm going to blame all of those people because they've done such a wonderful job of making the M16 look like the mass weapon of destruction of the decade. And it's not. But nonetheless, they are intimidated by it, especially new shooters. When you take new shooters out for the very first time and you put an M16 or an AR-15 in their hands, they're intimidated because that's the way they've been colored in the media or by anti-gunners. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Number 4 in my top 5 most intimidating guns is gonna have to be the AK-47. By and large, it is also just as ubiquitous as the M16. The only difference is with the AK-47, people usually correlate them with bad guys. You're used to seeing all of these movies about terrorism and seeing the terrorists wield these AK-47s. Hell, when you watch the nightly news and you see images of ISIS, they're always wielding AK-47s. So the AK-47 has become the perpetual bad guy gun and is iconic in that sense. So whenever most people see an AK-47, they're instantly intimidated because it's so recognizable and so distinguishable between all of the other guns that are out there, especially compared to the M16, which could almost look docile compared to the AK-47, even though they essentially do the same thing. So number 4, definitely gonna have to be the AK-47. The Thompson submachine gun. The Thompson submachine gun is more intimidating to people, not because it's just an inherently intimidating gun. For Christ's sakes, it shoots a 45. The Thompson submachine gun is so intimidating to a lot of people because it harkens back to the days of the old school gangsters. This image that has been glorified in our media, in our movies, of the gangsters walking down the streets, just spraying bullets everywhere, killing innocent civilians. Especially when you talk about a Thompson submachine gun that has a drum. This particular Thompson doesn't. It has a stick magazine. And I always have to wonder, would it be as intimidating with just a stick magazine? It's yet to be seen. But for the most part, the iconic Thompson submachine gun is intimidating to a lot of people because of what it used to represent back in the day. Number 2 on my list of most intimidating guns is the M60. The M60 is on this list for more personal reasons than anything else. And a lot of those reasons stemming from the fact that I love the movie Rambo. And I remember that iconic image of Rambo wielding an M60 with the belt-fed ammo wrapped around his arm, taking out all of the bad guys. The image was badass and it was also probably incredibly intimidating to people who didn't know what they were looking at. So I definitely have to go with the M16 for nothing more than that. Now sure, the gun does have its own intimidating presence, but when you put that image and combine it with Rambo, there's a reason it's number 2. The Ma Deuce is intimidating for one reason and one reason only, the way it looks. Don't get me wrong, there are guns bigger than the Ma Deuce, much bigger, but there's just something about the Ma Deuce's pure presence that just makes it seem larger than life. The odd thing is, shooting it is really not that intimidating, but the anticipation of shooting it, it's an intimidating gun, just sheerly based off of its looks. It is very intimidating because it is a very impactful presence when you see it. And there is no denying that. Now, like I said before, the idea of intimidation can include being scary, but not always the case. Intimidation is just something that is long-lasting. It leaves an imprint on your mind when you see it or when you're engaged with it. And I'm pretty sure there are people who completely disagree with this list. And if you do, I would love nothing more than for you to compile your own list and let me know what you think the top 5 most intimidating guns are.
Do you think there's any credence to the idea that a scary-looking gun will help you in a self-defense situation?
I don't see guns as scary looking.
No, I call bullshit.
I don't believe in scary-looking guns.
No, I don't think that the way your gun looks is going to help you in a self-defense situation.
If you're a person that doesn't have a significant amount of training, right?
Yeah.
And you pull out your little little 22 Mosquito versus pulling out a Sega 12 gauge with a drum on it.
Yeah.
What's more intimidating?
If I walked in and grandma has a big old double-barrel shotgun, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. If she's picking that thing up, then I have to assume that she knows how to use it. And if I'm in a close proximity, I'm done.
I actually worked in a walk-in off-the-street gun store. Yeah. I still go into gun stores today and just absolutely cringe at the guy that's trying to sell a pump-action shotgun because he just says, all you gotta do is this.
I guess it's not so much the shotgun, is grandma within her hands the command presence.
Gotcha.
She's determined.
They always taught not to carry a gun out in the open because you're gonna be the guy's first target. So my opinion about that, you never pull a firearm unless you're willing to take somebody's life.
Here, let's ask a question. Would you rather be shot by a 22 or a 338 Lapua hunting rifle with a wood stock?
Jeez Louise, man, that street sweeper or this little 22?
I think I'll have better chances of survival with the 22. I'll take that one.
It's like anything else. If you see a woman with a baseball bat or a man with a baseball bat and they go to the batting cage regularly, there's some confidence there. So, I mean,
if somebody's threatening your life in such a manner you have to draw a firearm, the way it looks stopping someone, yeah, I don't really buy that.
And if you're not willing to make that ultimate decision, then you have no business carrying a gun.
Hey, you see those guys back there? Go ahead and shut the door. Away. Hey, man.
Hey, man. Me and my boys were really hungry.
Hey, can I help you guys?
An extra?
Nah, man. Why don't you take off, dude?
Come on, man. Shield draw, take 3.
And then just boom, cover up. Boom.
Bam. And action.
All right, guys, we're talking about the shield draw. When it comes to carrying a firearm in self-defense or being in a fight for your life, there's one consistent that we're always gonna have, and that's putting ourselves in the best position possible. We see it all too often in YouTube video after YouTube video where guys get fixated on trying to draw their gun and they forget about protecting this and staying in the fight. That's where the shield draw comes in. We want to set ourselves up for success to protect our central nervous system regardless of the scenario. There's 3 points the shield draw is going to give us: in-fight weapon access, creating space, and time and opportunity. In-fight weapon access is something that we actually have to understand. Just having a firearm in an engagement dealing with a threat isn't gonna cut it. That's why you have to layer combatives and understand how to use your hands and at least protect yourself in a threat scenario. So we wanna get our hands up, protect our central nervous system, and create that position where it allows us to access our weapons seamlessly and efficiently. If that guy was standing in front of me and he threw a shot, or through a strike, I want to be able to protect my head while manipulating my material and getting access to my firearm. When we talk about that in-fight weapon access, we need to create space. Understanding how to use our elbow and our hands to create that space is going to give us an advantage when it comes to threat ID and putting the necessary force on the target that needs it the most. If I have somebody in front of me with 2 buddies behind them, just like in this scenario, I can't see too much of what's going on, especially in this one where they had hidden hands. Both guys had a hand hidden. I'm trying to keep an eye on this guy in front of me, but I'm also trying to keep SA to the rear. When we deal with multiple threats, we want to be able to create that space to give us an idea of what our target priorities are going to be. In every fight, whether we're using our hands or we're using a pistol, we're trying to create time and opportunity to gain the advantage, increase our platform, and just get to a better fighting position in general. That's what time and opportunity is. If we don't take advantage of the time and opportunity we create, then we're wasting it. If I'm able to get that guy in front of me, often push him 2 or 3 feet, it not only opens up my background to create awareness, but it gets him away from me so I don't have to worry about him clipping me or hitting my face or anything that's gonna reduce my position. Now with that created space, I have the time and opportunity to assess him, see his hands, and see the bigger picture of what's going on in my environment to bring more awareness in. One guy had a blade and one guy had a gun. Which guy am I gonna shoot first? Obviously, I have a woman and a kid that's already buckled into the car that I'm trying to protect, so I'm engaging the guy with the firearm first. That is my biggest threat. I don't need any rounds coming towards me or the family that I was protecting at the time in this scenario, and then escalate force appropriately to engage which targets I need to.
Ready, Dom? Action 1! Action 2!
My first move is preemptive, throwing a face smash to begin my shield draw. I bury my chin, protecting and supporting my central nervous system. Using a gross motor movement, I begin to rip my shirt, clearing it from my firearm, simultaneously moving my weapon hand to reference the gun with a 3-finger grip. This movement begins to create structure with my elbow, forming what we use as a shield and shock entry tool for the threat in my immediate space. Once the threat's clear, I draw my pistol higher than normal because of the likelihood of having to take shots from retention at close range. Once the closest threat is no longer in my space, I can then transition my shield arm and meet at center chest to lock in my 2-handed grip. Pressing the gun out, I continue to scan the immediate area and take shots if necessary.
After 5 courses of fire, Team Bravo has now taken the lead with 11 points. Team Alpha is in second place with 9 points, and Team Charlie's still in there with 5 points. Gentlemen, it's getting late.
Yeah.
It's beyond late, actually. It's getting early.
It's getting early the next day, yeah.
The discomfort has set in on a couple levels, and this next course of fire, we're going to find more discomfort.
Of course.
Beautiful.
Of course.
Can't wait.
This is a pretty cool course of fire. One shooter is going to dip their hands in the ice water. Go! While the other shooter runs back, grabs up to 4 ammo cans, returns to the ice bucket. At that point, Iceman will dig through the ammo cans in search of a 10-round magazine and will load and shoot a piece of steel 5 times from 7 yards.
Okay.
And if you so choose, you will try to shoot a piece of chalk for a bonus 2 points this time.
Nice.
Or a -1 point if you hit the balloons that are surrounding the chalk.
Okay.
While the shooter's attempting to shoot the steel in the chalk, the ammo can runner can run back for a 5th ammo can, in which they will find another magazine of 10 rounds, just in case you so desire to have that. Otherwise, the second shooter can go ahead and go to the crossbow station, at which point the person who ran the ammo cans will fire 2 crossbow shots into the crossbow target at about 50 yards. Inside of the orange is a hit. Outside of the orange is going to be a 10-second penalty.
Oh, damn.
Once that second arrow hits that target, the time is up. The team with the fastest time will get first place.
I like this one, as long as my hands aren't on the ice. I like this one.
At least it's nice and warm out here, so it might feel a little bit refreshing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe for about 2 seconds.
Let's do it.
All right, brother. I have done this kind of sensory deprivation before.
That's daunting. I'm scared. I mean, this one legitimately scares me.
We've decided I'm going to be putting my hands in the ice bucket, considering I'm from Oregon. I shoot in the cold and the snow.
I didn't know where I am.
So I've shot with cold hands.
Are we gonna rock, paper, scissors this thing to decide who does the ice?
Yeah, I think you'll be able to grab both of the things, unless there's like unless they're actually weighted.
1, 2. Oh!
and my teammate's gonna run really fast with those ammo cans. Right? Yes. Okay.
I can't start sifting until all 4 ammo cans are there.
Right. I do not want to do this. I do not want to do this.
So it's gonna be, you have to problem solve. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do this.
20 seconds.
Oh my God.
I can promise you 20 seconds.
Oh my God.
You guys got this. 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
It's cold. It's cold. Run faster than you've ever run, brother. Please.
Go.
The water's not that cold. Oh, man.
Yeah, you got this shit, Alex. Yeah.
Wow, 3 in one hand. Are you kidding me?
Oh, come on.
Go. Nothing.
Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul.
And
that is awesome. That is awesome. Nice work, buddy. Oh, the gun fell down.
He's gotta look.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, got this. Get it? No. All right, we're done. Hey, let's go. Come on, baby. Nice. That is sick.
Yeah.
You're good. You're
nice.
good. Yeah.
That was beast mode right there. I mean, that was. Yeah! Oh! Did that hit the stand?
I don't know if she hit it.
Something moved.
And yes, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Rod my staff. Prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Anoint my head with all the remainder of my days, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord.
Nailed it!
Let's go, girlfriend. Let's go. Let's hump it. We got this all day, every single day of the week. We got this. You got it.
Take your time. Just has to be inside the orange. Nice. Another one. Safety off. Nice with your right thumb like you did, so you don't make my mistake. Nice. Woo!
You got it, you got it, you got it, you got it.
Nice.
Yeah! Come on. Did it click? Did it click?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah!
That's strong.
Take a nice big deep breath. I want to hear you audibly breathe. Make sure it knocks. Safety. When you get up and ready, you're doing fantastic. Good hit. Now let's go over. Get on this side of it. White notch. You're doing amazing. You're crushing this right now. Take big deep breaths though, okay? There you go, notch it, good. Safety, you need to allow your body to pause, okay? Whenever you're ready, make a nice slow trigger pull. Good hit, that's what I'm talking about.
Nailed it.
That's how you shoot a crossbow. That's what I'm talking about. Good work. And yes, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Take a nice big deep breath.
All right, guys, most people in town are getting up for work, and we have not even gone to bed yet.
That's right.
Just completed course number 6. That was intense. That was uncomfortable.
Run faster than you've ever run, brother. That was a little uncomfortable. More strategy.
Yeah, more strategy. I like it. It's a thinking man's game, too. We're not just shooting guns here.
That is a fact.
Team Charlie, fastest time by 10 seconds.
Damn, like that.
Impressive. Thea had no problem having her hand. She's like, I'll do my
She's
hand
like,
in the
I'm
ice.
from Oregon. I can handle that. And I was like, you do you, boo-boo. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna put my hands in there.
Right. Alex just crushed the 4 cans.
Yeah.
She had 3 cans in one arm.
Yeah, dude, when you did that, I was just like, yeah.
Like, my hands just chilling.
Like, yeah.
It's just a manicure.
And you got the chalk.
Yeah.
Nice. 2 bonus points for the chalk. That was awesome. Bravo team. You guys did not want to do the ice, either one of you.
1, 2.
Oh! Darren got his hands in the ice.
It's cold.
Colin still killed the cans, got them to him real fast, had all four cans in his arms. You guys tried for the chalk, you didn't hit it.
I did, yeah.
Time of 1:56. Alpha team, you guys hustled. Getting 2 cans at a time probably hurt you instead of trying to get all 4 at once. Right. Barrett didn't seem to have much of a problem shooting accurately and fast after those cold hands. Nailed 5 and then just nailed the chalk. Good performance, 206, but you did get the chalk, so you got 2 bonus points there. So the standings as of now, we've got Team Charlie. You guys got 5 points.
Yes!
Fastest time and 2 bonus points. Team Alpha, you guys got 1 point for the performance plus 2 points for the chalk. Team Bravo, no chalk. You guys finished second, 2 points for you. Where does that put us overall? Team Alpha, 12 points. Team Bravo, 13 points.
Okay, nice.
Team Charlie, right there, 10 points.
10 points.
Oh boy.
Right there. It's a tight game.
This is
tight
good.
game.
This is actually good.
I like it. All right, literally coming down to the last bit here. I love it.
Next time on the NOIR Team Challenge. The last course of fire is here. One shooter from the team will be shooting at distances of 3, 5, or 700 yards in 1 minute. That person will accumulate time with each hit. The time that shooter 1 accumulates will be used by shooter 2 on their carbine. Shooter 2 will then shoot chalk. Every chalk hit is worth 1 point, as in the points that you guys have accumulated over the last 3 days. We will tally on the total number of points you get from the chalk to your scores. So there's only a 3-point gap at best right there.
Wow.
Anyone's game.
Wow, okay. Fun time, fun time.
Nice.
Good job.
Nice.
Good job. Oh, good.
What's going on, folks? This is Colion Noir. If you like what you saw in this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button that should be located on the bottom left portion of the screen. I mean, come on, who are you fooling? I know you want to.